Robert Kennedy the first time he came to Marilyn's house.
And she was having an affair with Robert Kennedy, the Attorney General at the time.
She was a addict.
And one night, Marilyn told me this, that while he was making love to Robert Kennedy, she called out my name.
Marilyn got involved with the most powerful family in the country and is now becoming a disruptive factor.
On August 5, 1962, the world lost Marilyn Monroe.
Crowds of the curious are held back at a respectful distance from the private funeral that Joe DiMaggio and others arranged for Marilyn Monroe.
Officially, a drug overdose. But the truth? It's been debated for decades. Was it accident or something darker?
An overdose of sleeping pills is the official explanation for her death. But many people have doubts and suspect foul play. Decades have passed since then, but the case has never been resolved.
Tonight, we uncover the real Marilyn, beyond the blonde bombshell, beyond the headlines. From her rise to fame to her tragic end, Marilyn's story is one of beauty, ambition, and secrets. Who was she really? And what happened that night? Born Norma Jeane Mortensen on June 1, 1926, Marilyn's childhood was anything but glamorous. Her mother, Gladys, battled schizophrenia, leaving Norma Jeane in foster homes and orphanages.
There were 11 foster homes when she was a child.
She once said, "I wasn't an orphan in the sense of having no parents, but I was always alone." At 16, to escape foster care, Norma Jeane married Jim Doherty. But World War II and a chance photo shoot changed everything. A modeling agency spotted her, and by 1946, she was divorced, dyed blonde, and signed to 20th Century Fox as Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn's early roles were small but electric. Her cameo in All About Eve stole scenes. By 1953, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes and How to Marry a Millionaire made her a star. But the studio system typecast her as the dumb blonde, a role she despised. Marilyn fought for respect. She studied at the Actors Studio, mastering method acting.
Marilyn was absolutely intent on becoming a great star.
But the press focused on her beauty, not her talent. Her marriages to Joe DiMaggio and Arthur Miller brought love and scrutiny.
Joe DiMaggio came and saw, and he said, "I'd be 100 men."
Fame came at a cost. Marilyn battled insomnia, anxiety, and barbiturate dependency. Her 1954 divorce from DiMaggio and 1961 split from Miller deepened her isolation. In 1961, she was briefly hospitalized in a psychiatric ward, a secret she kept from the world.
She suffered from manic depressive disorder. You go up and down very fast. And when you go down, you can go thoughts.
Marilyn's private writings reveal a woman yearning for authenticity. She wrote, "I want to be an artist, not an erotic freak." But Hollywood and the world wanted the myth. On August 4, 1962, Marilyn was filming Something's Got to Give, a troubled production. She spent her final day at home, reportedly upbeat but fragile. By midnight, she was found unresponsive. The coroner ruled it a probable barbiturate overdose.
One of the most famous stars in Hollywood history is dead at 36. Marilyn Monroe was found dead in bed, under circumstances that were in tragic contrast to her glamorous career as a comic talent.
But the story doesn't add up. Marilyn's psychiatrist, Dr. Ralph Greenson, reported giving her chloral hydrate.
After their therapy sessions, but he did that because Marilyn was picking up men off the street. She was a addict.
Her doctor, Hyman Engelberg, prescribed Nembutal.
Hyman Engelberg. There were apparently quite a volume of pills that were discovered at her death at her bedside.
Yes.
Do you recall looking at a list of those pills, and were they all prescribed by you?
No, only one had been prescribed on me. I was surprised to see at the side of her bed a large number of other sleeping pills.
But the autopsy found lethal levels of both, without pills in her stomach. How did they get there?
Marilyn got involved with the most powerful family in the country and is now becoming a disruptive factor.
Rumors swirled about Marilyn's ties to John F. Kennedy and Robert F. Kennedy. Some claim she had affairs with both, documented in a diary that threatened their reputations.
JFK ditched her, big time.
And she said, "Oh, you people just use me. That's all you want to do is just use me. You don't care about me. You just use me, and I'm tired of being used."
Others point to the mafia, angry over her alleged knowledge of their dealings. Could she have been silenced? No diary was ever found.
There was a story I heard regarding your father and Marilyn Monroe. I'm not sure, is that true or is it a rumor?
It was a famous club in Manhattan. So he said, one night I go in there and Marilyn Monroe walks in. And so Frank says, you want me to introduce you to Marilyn? So he says, yeah. So he meets Marilyn. He says, and from that point on, I had a little bit of an affair with her, you know? And he says, and then I broke it off when I was with your mother at the time. I broke it off, and she was having an affair with Robert Kennedy, the Attorney General at the time. And the way he tells the story, he says, and one night Marilyn told me this, that while he was making love to Robert Kennedy, she called out my name. I said, Dad, you know, he said, no, it's true story, son, true story. And she said, from that point on, Robert Kennedy called up J. Edgar Hoover and said, I want Sonny Franzese behind bars.
Witnesses like Eunice Murray, her housekeeper, gave vague, shifting accounts.
I couldn't, as a layman, couldn't describe her as depressed. But I know she had many worries, and this particular day she was not lively and enthusiastic. She was very quiet.
The police noted a staged scene, with laundry freshly washed and no signs of distress. Phone records vanished, and the coroner's report left gaps. The drugs in her system suggested a dose too precise for suicide, possibly administered by injection. Conspiracy theories exploded. Some say the Kennedys ordered her death to protect their secrets. Others implicate the mafia, using her as a warning to Hollywood. Even the CIA was mentioned, fearing her rumored communist sympathies. But evidence is thin. FBI files mention her briefly, mostly for her political friendships. The truth remains elusive, buried in a web of speculation. Marilyn's final film, Something's Got to Give, was never finished. Outtakes show a woman radiant but frail, fighting to hold on. Her death wasn't just a tragedy, it was a cultural turning point. America saw its golden girl fall, and the conspiracies began. She was more than a star. Her poetry, scribbled in notebooks, revealed a mind hungry for meaning. She supported civil rights, defied studio bosses, and read Dostoevsky between takes. Yet the world saw only the smile. In 2025, Marilyn's shadow looms large. Her image graces fashion, art, and social media. Fans still debate her death, keeping her alive in hashtags and theories. Was she a victim of her own demons, a careless accident, or a darker plot? The real Marilyn wasn't just a bombshell. She was a woman who fought to be seen, loved, and understood. Her mystery endures because we want answers, not just about her death, but about the price of fame itself. What do you believe happened to Marilyn Monroe?